Now, the founding member of the Women in Physics in South Africa, Professor Mmantsae Moche Diale, is on a mission to build a force of women scientists who can provide quality and credible research. She has used her multiple roles, including that of Associate Professor at the University of Pretoria, to ensure that at least 5 PhDs are achieved at the institution every year. She joins us now via Zoom. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Prof, now more than ever, South Africa is in need of political, economic and health solutions. How is that quest to produce more PhDs going, and what is the quality of research? Is there quality research being produced?
Good morning, Desiree, and good morning, everyone. I must say that the work that we are doing in Women in Physics is a noble work. In physics, you must remember that the problems that we have right now, like the ventilators, they all come from physics. So we need a lot of research to be part of the solution into this work. And what we are doing with the semiconductors and devices, I think if we have more women, we'll be able to get women grounded in physics and in many other sciences, such that we solve the problems that are already there, not only in research, but in producing products after this research. An example is that of renewable energy, where we are struggling with load shedding, and we want to see more women understanding these devices that we are making to collect the solar energy, convert it to electricity, and store it as hydrogen or in batteries. So to do all of that, we need a lot of researchers. And I believe that if we add a lot of women, more women are grounded, women will be able to drive research in such a way that we are able to move the economy further through these researches. Thank you.
You've mentioned quite a few products. Just in terms of responses to COVID-19, you've spoken about the ventilators, but are there any exciting conversations or innovations that have come out?
The innovations that we are getting is that for you to get your mask to be clean, to be correct, you need certain instruments in physics to be able to tell you how much of the contaminants are there and what is the name of those contaminants that are there, so that we know exactly what we are giving to the community to use with these ventilators. Many people are complaining about the indigenous knowledge systems where our own medicines are not being used. But with instruments that we are producing in physics, we can produce information that will make people aware of what we are doing. With the University of Limpopo and University of Venda, we are working on putting together information about the indigenous medicines that people are using and be able to provide information about these medicines, their toxicity, how good they are, how we use them. We work on the basics of this research work with Professor Macho from University of Limpopo. Yeah. She's also a woman.
Everything that you're saying now is so exciting because it dispels the myth that all the solutions in terms of COVID-19, the fight against COVID-19, are sourced from elsewhere. We don't have any local solutions.
I must say that I believe that all of us working together as scientists, we call it integrated science. You cannot solve a problem as an individual. In many years ago, people used to publish a paper as an individual. We publish together, we work together with all other institutions. So that when we give out the products of our research to the outside world, to the communities, to our people, to the country, we are able to tell the country that this is made in South Africa, this is research in South Africa. And with all of that, we are able to use our understanding of what we call material science so that we develop all the important instruments that we use, the mask, the gloves, the injections, they all emanate from what we call material science. Material science, in simple terms for everyone, is when you are wearing a jacket that is made of plastic, you know that it is warmer than a jacket made out of another material. So this is what we are doing as scientists and moving our research further with women. I believe that what women are able to do, as all other women have said, like Mama Winnie Mandela, is that when women are in the forefront of any form of development, women will be able to come out with research that has always been there, but not been selfish. Women are not selfish at all. Women generally support each other and want to work with each other. Thank you.
So you're also on this mission, as you've been saying, to bring along more women. Have we reached the point in South Africa where a conversation about a scientist doesn't automatically refer to a man?
We are still very far. In South Africa in general, we are a patriarchal society. So when a woman like me is doing physics, you are being asked questions like, how did you reach there? Why did you do it? There's no money in physics. I am not doing this work for money. And when I attract girls into physics, I make them aware of the fact that we are not doing this for money. We are doing this to develop ourselves as women and also to add to the knowledge economy that is already existing. So what we have done is that we have what we call Women in Physics in South Africa, supported by the South African Institute of Physics and the Department of Science and Technology. In this work that we are doing, we go to schools and we advertise what physics can do for you in schools. Here is a simple example. There is something called the resistor. We take resistors, put them together, and make earrings for women and say, that's how much resistance you have. You are very resistive and you can become very strong when we move forward. This project of Women in Physics in South Africa, it is the kind of project that has been a flagship of the Department of Science and Technology. I remember many years ago, Minister Mosibo Imakengena, whenever he's speaking, he will mention the women in physics in South Africa. So this is the international world has discovered the issue that there are very few women in physics. Let me give you the numbers. In 2005, when we launched the movement of women in physics, we had only 25 women. And that number, amongst them, maybe about 10% was the group of women who have got PhDs, and those were not even black women. Today, we are able to record 214 women who has done PhD in physics. But then, whilst the women in physics are very few, we want to be clear that there is still a long way to go where women in physics need support. I came where I am because there were men who were supporting me. At the University of Pretoria, there was Professor Anton Straw, who said, let's give this lady a position in the department so that we retain her. And there was Professor Malherbe, there was Daniel Red, my PhD supervisor, who was there. So there are men who supported us. But all of us as women who are there, we must be prepared to support other women so that these women can come up. The few problems that women have at universities, women in physics in particular, is that when you become pregnant, it is an example. You are not going to be treated with kid gloves because you are pregnant. But if your supervisor is a woman, she will have to understand the issues that women go through, especially that the supervisor herself has children. When I had my son, I resigned my good job, management job at Medunsa, and went to take a low-paying job at the University of Pretoria so that I can push my agenda to become a real woman in physics with a PhD in physics. And in this journey, I was with people like Dr. Zinhle Buthelezi, who is our flagship. She's working at the CERN in Switzerland with our student representative, Onesimo. So we are actually growing the number of women in physics by going to schools and making sure that girls understand going into physics. There was a recent joke at the University of Pretoria where a student who used to be our tutor continued her medical degree. And she came back and said, I want to come back and tutor physics again so that I can use my thinking skills. So in physics, we teach students to think. And I think women have got more capacity, more capability, more resilience, more focus to do the work that is at hand about women in physics. Even this crime in South Africa, if you look at the crime, if you use the detectors that we are making from our labs on solid state detectors, these solid state detectors are the ones that will be able to catch the thieves in a more easier way.
So,
the
Prof,
only things that we must learn. Yes, ma'am.
You're talking about solutions.
Hello.
You're talking about solutions for crime, but another social ill that's plaguing South Africa at the moment is gender-based violence. What could be the role science plays in trying to find solutions for gender-based violence in South Africa?
The problem that we can do as scientists to address the issues of gender-based violence is that I think we should have a system where women will be able to report their information on the database, which comes from the Fourth Industrial Revolution, developing the Fourth Industrial Revolution in South Africa in such a way that women can just use their cell phone and send information, and the information goes to a data center somewhere, and the data center is able to report more properly, more appropriately. And when a woman is suffering and that woman is in science, women must stand together to address the problem that the other woman is suffering from. So it is, science has got solutions. And all that we need to do is to work together.
Just outside of science, though, isn't it a sad indictment on the country when we have to develop a database of women who are being abused?
It is very sad. It is very sad. That's when you see the importance of science, our hard sciences like physics, working very closely with social sciences and make it a point that the problem of another woman is our problem. How I raised the number of women in physics is for me to be interested in their lives. Whenever I go to a conference of physics in South Africa, I make myself available for students. I make myself available for other women. And in turn, women trust me. They are able to talk to me about many, many serious issues that they go through. Like, I have a child and I don't have support. What is that I do? Or I want to write a proposal. What is that you can do for me? And we always are there for our students. I think that's the way to do.
That's such an important. It's such an important societal point that you're raising there. Academic women and women who want to get ahead in life, and the kind of support that they get from their partners. Take us into some of those conversations you're having with them in terms of the kind of support, either family or partner support that they get.
You know, Desiree, what I do is that I use this sentence that be interested in people. And when you get interested in people, you are able to make friends with them. And when you are friends with them, they are able to open up to you. And when a woman opens up to you about her personal issues, you must be a very confidential person. At the University of Pretoria in particular, we have got systems in place. When a woman is abused, when a woman is attacked, you are able to send a woman to those rooms, to the counseling center where they take care of this woman from Dr. Madiba there. And for example, one woman did abortion, and she didn't write my test. And she didn't know what to do. But then some people encouraged her that she comes and talk to me. And she clearly told me the truth about it is that I committed abortion and I was scared to tell anybody. And when she talked to me, I sent her to Dr. Madiba at the Student Counseling Center. And they took care of her now. And she is now already an honor student. And when I met her, she was just a first-year student at the university. So, and another case is that I went to a conference at Makerere University, and I met a student there, Joan Talibau, who had a problem, who could not move on with her PhD research. And I invited her, just come to the University of Pretoria. We will take care of you. And then I was able to help her to find funding from TWAST, organization of Third World Organization for Women in Science, for her to spend 6 months of her time at the University of Pretoria and 6 months of another time at the University of Rwanda. So that's how I work hard to bring women in physics. And I always say there's going to be a time when I'm no more there, and women there must be someone who take the leadership. The leadership, yes. Yes.
So you also run a program at the University of Pretoria for students who might not be sufficiently prepared to go into science studies. Who are these students, and how do you go about making them science studies ready?
We have a program at the University of Pretoria. It is based at Mamelodi campus, where we decided many years ago with Professor Anton Stroh that if we don't start this kind of a thing, many years ago, many people used to call it, what do they call it? It was like a bridging program. It's not a bridging program, this one, where we take students who are qualified to go into the university. But because the numbers have become better, many people come up with 7 distinctions and all of that, we sometimes exclude very good students who cannot go in there because they don't have 7 distinctions. So we take them through a program. We teach them physics, we teach them chemistry, we teach them biology. Now we have included some commerce and information technology subjects. And such students, we were able to move them into their own career. That is, you teach them first year physics in 2 years, first year chemistry in 2 years. And in turn, during that time, there is also in the content that we give them, we give them also an opportunity to go into career guidance so that they're able to go further in what they wanted to be. I must say, on record, that people like Dr. Poppy Ramathuba have gone through such a program when I was teaching it at Medunsa. And we are very proud to have people who have gone very high up, who have become engineers like David Delegwa, who are top engineers at ESCOM, but they have gone through this program. And sometimes you get students. Yes, ma'am.
So your other active role is that of South African Research Chair in Clean Green Energy. Has the climate change conversation taken a back seat as the world tries to grapple with an epidemic?
This is what we are going to get out of the epidemic. The aviation industry has gone down, and then the oil industry suddenly became zero. There was a day when oil was less than $40, not $40, minus $40.
Went slightly down.
So this is
further down,
further down. And then we look at Sasol. Sasol was going to support me in my research on energy. But then overnight, there was no more money. So what happens, what we are doing with clean energy is that we are producing hydrogen out of splitting water, separating water from hydrogen and oxygen. And then we take hydrogen, we use this as a solar fuel for the aviation industry. So we hope with the help of our own engineer and entrepreneur, Elon Musk, we will be able to move forward, move the country forward. I want South Africa to go into production of hydrogen as the next fuel for our cars, for the aeroplanes, and we clean the environment in turn, because the only byproduct of hydrogen as a fuel is water vapor, which is very clean, which reduces the carbon footprint in the atmosphere. So that's what we're doing.
And we're going to have to end it there. I'm going to pretend I understand all of what you said right there, but it's been an absolute honor and pleasure talking to you. You're doing really amazing work. Thanks so much for your time this morning.
Thank you very much for everyone.
Professor Mmantsae Moche Diale is an associate professor at the University of Pretoria. Let's take a break.